Hi everyone at home or everyone in their offices, wherever you are. My name is Viwe Dweba. I am a clinical psychologist and mental health advocate practicing here in Johannesburg. And today I want to talk to you guys a little bit about taking stock of 2021 and preparing for 2022. I think it is safe to say that it has been a difficult year. It's been a challenging year. And as 2022 comes, I think a lot of us are actually still trying to process 2020. So there is so much happening in our heads. There's so much to think about as we're moving forward. So it's perfectly natural to be a little bit overwhelmed, to be wondering what the next steps are, or to be too overwhelmed to think about what the next steps are. So let's just check in terms of how everyone is feeling. Are you struggling to get out of bed? Are you feeling anxious? Are you feeling less productive? Have you been demotivated? Have you been tired? Have you been more irritable than usual? It's so normal to be experiencing these things. It doesn't mean that you're lazy. It means that you're just tired at the end of the year. There's a lot of end of year fatigue, so it's perfectly okay to be feeling like this. One of the things that we're also thinking about right now is where we are at this point. There's so much of what we hoped for that didn't go the way that we wished it would go. Because from March 2020, things have been difficult. Things have been unpredictable, things have been strange, and we've really just been clawing to survive these last 2 years. So I think it's important to take stock of where you are right now and where you hoped you would be, because there may be a big difference between those things, and that can bring up very disappointing feelings. One of the things that is incredibly important is to really acknowledge the losses that we've experienced in 2021, and these really started in 2020. These may be personal losses, such as loved ones, but these may also be business losses. A lot of entrepreneurs have lost their businesses, or their businesses have had to scale down or lost a lot of money. There's been so much loss, and that can leave us with a lot of feelings of grief. We don't only grieve over people, we grieve over, kind of the things we hoped for that haven't come to fruition. We grieve over the places in life where we thought we would be, where we didn't end up. So, taking stock of 2021, what have you learned? What have you learned from a personal perspective, your individual personal lessons? What are the business lessons that you have learned? Because this has been such a challenging time for absolutely everyone, especially for our entrepreneurs who have really taken a knock because the private sector took a knock. What are the health lessons that you have learned? Because health has looked very different in the last year or two, and that's because we've been dealing with additional stresses, unexpected stresses. And the last thing is, what are the relationship things that you have learned? How have you learned to be in relationship in a time that is so difficult, in a time where we've had to distance ourselves quite literally from our loved ones to keep ourselves and them safe? So as we prepare for 2022, there are some things that we need to think about. The first thing is reflecting on 2021. What are the things that you have learned? What are the things that you have taken out of the year? What are the things that you are moving forward with? Cleaning house. When I say cleaning house, I don't necessarily just mean this literally. I don't mean just sweeping your house, even though that's probably a good idea. I mean also doing away with unhealthy habits, unhelpful habits, things that have been harming you, things that have been getting in the way of where you want to be. And we need to do so realistically. This doesn't mean that we're suddenly going to quit everything we've ever done, but it's about taking stock of what has not been helpful for you and making moves towards making healthier decisions. There's been a lot of having to survive, a lot of having to cope. And when we are in survival mode, we're not thinking health, are we? We're thinking about, how do I get through this moment? So take stock of that, think about it, think about how we can replace those with some healthy coping. Clutter in your home may be a really great idea, even though this is not necessarily an essential. If you have the wherewithal to declutter your home, do that. Often our physical space can represent something that is happening inside us. So that may be something that is very useful. But again, do not pressurize yourself to do spring cleaning or to turn your house upside down if you just don't have the energy for it. Setting New Year's resolutions is so important in terms of focusing a little bit in terms of what you're wanting to do for the following year. But it's so important to be realistic about it, because when we're unrealistic, we leave ourselves with so many feelings of failure. We leave ourselves feeling inadequate when we haven't actually set realistic goals for ourselves. So set goals, make resolutions, but be realistic. Remember that you're a person. You're a person who has been tired, who has been challenged. Put your game face on for 2021 and 2022. Remember that it has been a difficult year, but also you can move on from it. But right now, the most important way to prepare for 2022 is to rest. Rest is about removing yourself from the demands of life and the expectations. So do not pressurize yourself to be overly productive. Do not pressurize yourself to catch up. Often we can think, I'm gonna read all the books, I'm gonna go to all the social engagements that I didn't manage to go to. Do not do that to yourself. Be realistic with yourself. Rest is about not expecting things of yourself, and that is what is important to focus on. And lastly, I think that the kind of final thought I want to leave you guys with is you have survived 2021. You have actually survived. And there is so much that could have gone so wrong, that could have been tragic. And even if there have been tragedies, you have gotten through those. That's the most important thing. You've survived, and honestly, the rest is gravy. But that is all from me. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. I will see you on the other side.